First of all, I would like to thank the Jain Society of Rochester, as well as ICC, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to make a presentation on Jain religion. The Jain religion is quite ancient, over 5,000 years old. There is a quote from Dr. Radhakrishnan, who was a vice president in India many, many years ago. He said that there's nothing wonderful in my saying that Jainism was in existence long before the Vedas were composed. Jain scriptures, they're also quite old, have a listing of 24 Tirthankaras or enlightened masters. The last such enlightened master was Lord Mahavira, who was born in the year 595 BC. He was a contemporary of Lord Buddha, and interestingly enough, Jain and Buddha, both religions, are very, very similar. There are 6 million Jains in India. Many of them are quite educated and very affluent. They're doing very well. There are 150,000 Jains abroad. Majority of them are in the States and in Canada. Here is a listing of the Jainism beliefs. The first, every soul can achieve the highest potential, meaning moksha or liberation from the cycles of death and birth. The second belief is we are truly dependent upon each other. That means we need to be loving, compassionate, and kind, not only to the human beings, but also to the other forms of life, such as animals, birds, plants, vegetation. In Jainism, God is worshipped as a supreme teacher or a guide or an ideal, not a creator. This is quite different than many other religions. It is a religion of self-efforts. Jains believe their destiny in our own hands. We rise or fall depending upon what we do with the precious human life we have been given. The aim of Jain religion is the liberation of all souls from the karmic bondage through right beliefs, right knowledge, and right conduct. Jain community has 4 major groups: monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen. Monks and nuns are those people who leave their homes, families, spouses, and devote their lives exclusively in the study and practice of religion. They go out bare feet, go from one village to the other, one town to the other, and spread the principle of Jainism, and also they train the community about practicing the religion in a correct way. Laymen and laywomen would support monks and nuns rather heavily to take care of the needs for food, shelter, and clothing. Jainism has 3 core principles, and they are ahimsa, anekantvad, and aparigraha. They are Sanskrit words. In English, these words mean non-violence, different viewpoints, and living a balanced and greed-free life. What does non-violence mean in Jainism? Jainism says not to harm any living being, physically or mentally. So in Jainism, when we talk about avoiding the mental violence, that would mean abstaining from violent thoughts, feelings of hate, revenge towards fellow human beings. So the definition of nonviolence in Jainism is quite broader and deeper compared to the way nonviolence is defined in some other religions. In line of this principle of nonviolence, Lord Mahavir proclaimed many centuries ago. He said, in happiness and suffering, in joy and grief, we must regard all living creatures as we regard our own self. Anekantvad in Jainism means the recognition that we are all different, we all hold different viewpoints. But we need to recognize that no one viewpoint contains the whole truth. That's the reason we need to be open-minded and listen to other people and engage in a constructive dialogue in every interaction that takes place. Jainism says that by using this approach, by following this approach, we can indeed achieve harmony and lasting peace. Jainism is asking its followers to lead a greed-free and balanced life because it is the primary cause of many other sins such as aggressive behavior, lies, stealing, anger, hate, ego, and dishonesty. So how do we practice the principles of Jainism? Well, the religion is asking its followers to use a two-step approach, mental and physical. Mental meaning developing the right beliefs and controlling the toxic emotions of anger, arrogance, or ego, deception, greed, and other related passions, as you see on the slide. The physical approach, on the other hand, calls for staying away from violence, telling lies, stealing, sensual acts, possessiveness, quarrel, allegation, gossip, likes, dislikes, criticism, to lie with deception. So please bear in mind that there's a cause and effect relationship between the previous two slides. Jainism says that there is a strong cause and effect relationship between the destructive emotions and wrong beliefs and vices or sins, violence, lies, stealing, and others. One is a cause, other is the effect. Jainism believes that our problems start at the emotional level, and that's where we need to start our spiritual journey. So what is the cure for fixing wrong beliefs and our tendency to commit sins and passions? Well, number one is acquire right beliefs through right knowledge. Without the right beliefs, there's no way we can acquire right knowledge or show right behavior. And the Jainism also asking us to control the toxic emotions of anger, arrogance, deception, and greed by making use of divine virtues, by cultivating the divine virtues such as forgiveness, humility, honesty, and contentment. Jains have two festivals, major ones. First is the birthday of Lord Mahavira, which falls in the month of April. We celebrate rather nicely this birthday, similar to the way Hindus celebrate the birthday of Lord Krishna. The second festival, which is very important to the Jains, is called Paryushana and the Strakshana. Both of these are festivals of forgiveness. They fall in the month of September, right after the monsoon in India. They're basically 8 to 10 days long spiritual retreats, at the end of which every member of the Jain community is supposed to grant and seek forgiveness from the other fellow Jains and non-Jains for any mistakes committed over the previous 12 months, knowingly or unknowingly. So this is one ritual which we take very, very seriously. In Jains, try to implement the message of forgiveness in their daily life. Jains are strict vegetarians because they are taught right from the childhood to respect all forms of life, which would mean not only humans, but also animals, birds, and ocean creatures. Jains also engage in periodic fasting. You'll find most of them non-aggressive, compromising, and peaceful. Very few Jain families would get involved in drugs or smoking or excessive alcohol, and you will find them rather closely connected with the family members. Most Jains also spend some time every day either in prayers or meditation or introspection. Let me share the opinions of Western philosophers, those who have studied Jainism in depth. Mr. George Bernard Shaw said many centuries ago, I adore so greatly the principles of the Jain religion that I would like to be reborn in a Jain community. This is a quote from an Italian philosopher. He said that Jainism is of a very high order. Its important teachings are based upon science. The more the scientific knowledge advances, the more the Jain teachings will be proved. This is from Mahatma Gandhi. If anyone has practiced to the fullest extent and has propagated most the doctrine of ahimsa, it was Lord Mahavira. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks again.